steady. Hey. Because if I say tomato and you say tomato, now the same tomatoes. Hey. If I say potato and you say potato, now the same potato. Hey. Food you know they take for careless boy. Not at all. You do anyhow, you go see anyhow. Well. As you lay up bed now, so you go lie on top. And as he come be say you get the make you get up. What is the answer? What the questions popping in your life? Popping in your life. And if you find the answer, tell me, will you be satisfied? Hey, just stay come steady, steady. Oh, I just steady, steady. Africa steady, steady. Africa just steady, steady. My people steady, steady. If I say tomato and you say tomato, now the same tomatoes. If I say potato and you say potato, now the same potato. Come say tomato and you say easy. Don't worry, don't easy worry. If I say potato and you say potato, now the same potato. Not so. Not so. Steady, steady. Ready, ready. One dance, one laugh. Everybody one dance, one laugh. One love, listen, can't go like that. Look it up. Enjoy the ride. You don't know I won't be afraid. I'm just gonna relax and enjoy my life. Try to live it, try to appreciate it. Cause every breath I take, I'll feel the air. I'll take some time to smell the grass and the flowers. There's so much to live for here, I swear. I will bask in the sun and dance in the rain. Oh, I'll dance in the rain. I'll dance in the rain. Oh yeah. Oh, I'll dance in the rain.
Hello. Once again, a very good morning to you. It is now time to commence for today and the program remains public presentation of 2018 budget as part of effort of government to carry everybody along. It is on that note that I want to invite Lady Franca Egu to please come and give us opening prayer. Lady Franca Egu.
Stand up, let's pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Father, I want to thank you for life, for health, for joining us onto this place. You know the intention of this gathering this morning. We request that you guide and guide us, direct our thinking and our thoughts. Let all we are going to say be for the glory of God and the benefit of the state through Jesus Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father,
Thank you very much. On behalf of the ESCO Committee on Public Presentation of Budget, comprising 4 wise men, and the leader is the Secretary to Ebonyi State Government, Professor Bernard Ifeanyi Chukwu Odo. Please, can we welcome Prof with a round of applause? Mr. Chairman, you're welcome. We also have another member of the committee who is the Deputy Chief of Staff, Professor Fidelis Okpata. Prof, I welcome you, sir. Also seated is another member of the committee and Deputy Principal Secretary to the Governor, Chief Emmanuel Obase. DPS, you're welcome. Finally, I want to also welcome at this point Prince Sunday Ugwocha, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor, House of Assembly Liaison, another member of the... And my name is Monday also, your anchor person. It is on that note that I want to invite for the first presentation my boss, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, talking about Senator Emmanuel Onwe. Please, can you give him a round of applause? You're welcome, sir.
Distinguished. Just to put a ground rule, we have 20 minutes. You do your rendition in 10 minutes, then 10 minutes for interaction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chairman of this wonderful and innovative event, members of the panel, my colleagues in ESCO, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and of course the wonderful, hardworking members of the EBBC outside broadcasting crew. You're highly welcome. I'm glad that the presentation is just going to be 10 minutes because if the qualitative and quantitative contribution of a ministry is valued on the quantum of cash available to such ministry, then Ministry of Information has no business standing here. I would have been somewhere in Ikwo, sharing, commenting, and probably making a phone call to make my observations. But it is not just about cash. The Ministry of Information has been able to punch above its weight because it has utilized other assets at its disposal other than raw cash. Those assets particularly include goodwill, connections, and being able to apply the most rigorous sense of probity in managing the little resources that comes to the ministry. The budget analysis simply captures for the Ministry of Information the projections we made for 2017, and we can give a report that takes us up until the last day of the third quarter of 2017. As you know, in this sort of financial analysis, you do it on a quarterly basis. But we're not challenged very much by that because for the year 2017, the total budget for the capital expenditure of the Ministry of Information is 100 million. 100 million was appropriated, and what we have spent so far in 2017 up until the third quarter, as I said, is 91,540,600 6,000. And that expenditure was specifically for the procurement of the LCD or LED electronic billboards that you see across the state now, particularly in the state capital. We have 4 of them at the stadium. We have 1 at the Akanibem flyover, and 1 by the Presco, now Senator Dr. Fiangwali flyover, and 1 at the Desi roundabout. Now, Mr. Chairman, if you go to Annexure S1 of the budget, you will see specifically a provision of 88,546,000 naira for that specific purpose. Now, there is an overspend. That overspend is because the cost of procuring the materials and the cost of labor in relation to the LEDs became far more expensive than we had projected. Other provisions for the 2017 budget for the Ministry of Information are installation of information technology equipment for archive units, for which we budgeted in 2017 3,250,000 naira. We have not accessed a penny from that. The purchase of 1 minibus and 1 large public address system, we have not accessed from the 3,250,000 we budgeted for that. The celebration of anniversaries, Democracy Day specifically, and of course Independence Day, we budgeted 6,500,000. For that, we have not accessed from that provision. And then the purchase of 1 seater bus, for which we budgeted 15 million for 2017. We have not accessed that. We also budgeted for the purchase of 1 Hilux van, 12 million. We have not accessed that. The creation of website for the ministry, we budgeted 1,200,000 naira. We have not accessed that either. And then the establishment of non-linear editing suite at the ministry, we have not accessed that. Now for the 2018 estimates, for all these items I've listed as well, specifically for the installation of information technology equipment, we have budgeted 1 million for 2018, and for the purchase of 1 minivan and public address system, we budgeted 5 million. For the anniversary celebrations, we budgeted 20 million. For the construction of additional electronic billboards and LEDs, we budgeted 40 million. And the maintenance of electronic billboard, we budgeted 5 million. For the purchase of 1 18-seater bus, we budgeted 18 million. And for the purchase of 1 Hilux, we budgeted 15 million. For the creation of website for the ministry, we budgeted 3 million. And finally, for the establishment of non-linear editing suite, we budgeted 5 million, making a total of 116 million for the capital projections of 2018 for the Ministry of Information. Now, obviously the Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation is the flagship of the Ministry of Information, and the breakdown of the budget estimates for 2018 would follow after a brief analysis of what transpired with the 2017 budget. In 2017, the EBBC budgeted a total of 200 million and accessed 9,800,000 naira of that, giving a performance of 4.9%. In terms of percentage, sorry, I must state that for the ministry, the performance of the capital expenditure was 91.5% for 2017.
Senator?
Yes, sir.
We don't have the EBBC on here. What we have is one from the ministry.
I should have. Should have been.
We don't have a copy here.
We have it in the file. Okay. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Director General, Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, Engineer Timothy Nwache, and outside.
Yes, so as I was saying, the budget projections for 2017 for the EBBC was 200 million. 9,800,000 naira has been assessed. which gives us a performance percentage point of 4.9%. And despite that, I must of course say that the EBBC is now able to not only carry live outside broadcast as we speak, and this is happening right now as it has been happening since January of this year for the first time in the history of the corporation. That has been possible. Thank you. That has been possible because of the diligent technical crew that we have. I'm very proud of them. They have used every single means. As you can imagine, with a budget of 9,800,000, they've been able to perform this wonderful feat. Now, for the 2018 projections of the EBBC, they have budgeted 210,300,000, and a breakdown of that is as follows. For the construction of underground diesel dump, which is going to be able to have capacity to retain 33,000 liters of diesel, budgeted for 2018 is 5 million naira. Statutory payment to NBC for yearly renewal, 2014 to 2018. It's debatable whether this is recurrent or capital expenditure. That is 3 million naira. Completion of ongoing building construction, a few buildings to accommodate staff that are on duty. These people sometimes are on duty shifts from sometime to 2 a.m. So it's necessary to provide them with temporary accommodation within the premises. That is 14 million. And purchase of industrial broadcasting equipment for the digital transition of EBBC and SALT TV, 120 million. For the erosion and flood control at the premises of the corporation, 2 million. Procurement of parts as contained in the agreement with Closer and Stars. These are the German companies that established the corporation. 15 million for the purchase of 4 Toyota Corolla cars for the director and other staff, 32 million, bringing a subtotal of 191 million naira. Further provisions for the year 2018 is for the purchase of 1 Hilux van, 1 Hilux truck for 15 million naira, and the construction of a recreational facility at the premises, 3 million, and the provision of renewables, particularly for energy and electricity, 1,300,000 naira, bringing the entire total for 2018 to 210,300,000 naira for the EBBC. Rushing through to Ebonyi Newspapers and Publishing Corporation, the publishers of the Patriot newspaper, which I'm glad to say that no less a personality than His Excellency the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State raised it on a live program some time ago and declared it as the best publication either in the country or within Ebonyi State, but at any event that we should make arrangements to have it privatized. The provisions for 2017 budget estimate for the corporation was the total amount was 82,361,850, which is made up of both recurrent and capital expenditures. For the capital expenditure of the newspaper for 2017 was 24,505,000, of which we have the performance of 41.32%, the total budget, but the percentage performance for the capital provisions is 0. We were not able to assess anything. And then finally getting to the Government Printing and Publishing Company, the GPP. It has a provision for last year. It had a provision of 350 million for the purchase and installation of a printing press. This has been a recurrent feature in our budget since 2016. And of the 350 million budgeted, 0 sum was assessed. And for 2018, the provision for exactly the same equipment, the design, construction, and installation of government printing press is 430 million, and the hope is expressed that 2018 should be more positive for the agency than it was for 2017. So the percentage performance for the GPP in 2017 is 0. And of course, the recurrent expenditures for all these agencies and departments within the ministry are as expected. So that, I hope I'm within the 10 minutes, that's the summary of the budget estimates and budget analysis for 2017 and 2018 for Minister of Information, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
That has been Senator Emmanuel, the Commissioner for Information. He has just done justice to his own budget presentation.
But before we do that, I will, on behalf of my committee, make a few comments before we take comment from all of you. Yes, we've seen the budget of Ministry of Information. The first one for the ministry, we have a few observations. Yes, the outline is quite okay. We don't have issues with that. But there are some expenditures we made in the course of the fiscal year, which we think needs to come in here and be properly reflected as expenditure. Even if it was not initially budgeted, we can put it as supplementary provision. For instance, where we have anniversary and celebrations, democracy and independence, there was a provision of 6.5 million, and on this document is showing 0. I know that at the committee level, some expenses, went to the Ministry of Information, so it would be nice to capture that and represent it on this document. Then the same thing applies to construction of electronic billboards. Yes, the billboards are already in place. If you look at that column, in 2017 budget, there was no provision. But we have already done that particular task. So what we'll do will be to, provide that as a supplementary provision. Otherwise, it will amount to having spent money that was not budgeted for. So it will be good to put this in their provision and allow it as supplementary provision. The same thing with maintenance of electronic billboard. In 2017, there was no provision. The committee also knows that some funds have been expended on that particular task, so it will be important to capture that and also put as supplementary provision. Then the EBBC, the printing press, EBBC has done so well for the year, even though there was no release to much of their capital projects. As a committee, we will be making an appeal to see if you can get some more support in the fiscal year coming. The same thing applies to printing, government printing press, and there's one more, the publishing corporation, the newspaper. Yeah, because I know that over the course of the last 10 years, 10 months, we've seen publications that has come to council, that's gone to local government. So you will need a budgetary provision to be able to sustain that. So we'll make a passionate appeal for that. Other than that, I think I don't know that is we forgot. Okay, then there is construction of a recreational facility. EBBC containing bungalow with general dining hall. In 2016, the budget was 5 million. In 2018, the budget is now at 3 million. I don't know whether that is possible. Yes, it has dropped by 2 million. Okay, so otherwise it simply means the project will not be completed. So you may need to review that. Which other place? Then installation of ICT equipment for archive units. There was 3.25 million in 2017. There was no release. In 2018, they are seeking 1 million. Again, deficit of 2.something million. So we are afraid as a committee that that may not be realistic. Okay, so other than this, we can welcome comments, public comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Please, before we take the comments, I want to inform you that we have a telephone number 08024083108, 08024083108. You can reach us on this line. Please comment from the floor. Comment, please. Okay, please come forward, sir.
A saying that by failing to prepare, you are prepared to fail. That is why you can't achieve any goal without plan. Because if you plan,
then your contribution. Hello?
If you have a goal without a plan, it is just.
Hello, please on the line. Please, who is on the line? Okay, please. Can you tell us your name? Can you tell us your name and your location? Okay, Doc.
My distinguished senator, permit me to stand on already established protocol. Let me thank you for the good work you are doing in the Ministry of Information. But just to tell you about an observation. EBBC is doing quite important program that captures what is happening in the state. And it's very informative and educative. But it's regrettable to note that your services from EBBC does not cover the entire state, particularly when you go to Afikpo North and Afikpo South. So when you read your budget, I thought you would have reflected the construction of a booster station either Afikpo South or Afikpo North, so that the people of that area can get what is happening in the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Commissioner, please, you may wish to respond to that issue. Hello? Hello? Okay. Dr. Urum. Dr. Urum.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Once again, just a quick remark on the observations made by the panel. On expenditures we know had passed through the ministry but was not actually captured in our ministry. I think they call it AIE, and that is contained in something else. I think the Director of Information is here to clarify. Is the DG of EBBC here so that he can answer this question on Afikpo North, Afikpo South? He's not. Because I'm sorry to say, this is, for Afikpo North in particular, this is news to me. For Afikpo South, we have had an inkling as to the difficulties of our brothers and sisters from that part of the state receiving EBBC television, especially, and some that receive, they complain about the clarity of the pictures they receive, but I hadn't realized that Afikpo North is part of that. I would guarantee you that I will make that a priority from today. We were not going to wait for the budget. We would ensure that whatever it is that is preventing.
Hello? Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Monday, we have closed for information. We'll call on Minister of Works.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us now talk works and transport. I want to very humbly invite the vibrant and hardworking Honorable Commissioner for Works and Transport, Engineer Fidelis Mwese Kings, Fellow, Nigerian Society of Engineers. Honorable Commissioner, sir. Okay, member, Nigerian Society of Engineers. You're welcome, sir.
For the Ministry of Works.
The performance of Ministry of Works and Transport in the year 2017 on one part, and on second part, to bring the budget estimates for 2018 to Ebonyans for their contributions, comments that will help the ministry to move ahead. Starting from the budget performance, the projection made in 2017, we actually had about 54.726 billion naira appropriated for the Ministry of Works and Transport to cover 64 projects with it.
54.7, eh?
Yes, 54.72 billion.
Okay.
To cover 64 projects within the state. These projects include both state and federal roads that we intervened on. Before I go to some of these roads, the performance of the budget is about 51%. As of September 2017, we've been able to access about 30 billion out of the 54.726 billion. About 30 billion was released to the ministry to pay for projects. And this includes construction of the Akanidam flyover bridge that has since been completed and commissioned by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. The Presco Junction flyover bridge already completed. The International Market flyover bridge that is about 85% completed. We believe, God, that by January 2018, that project will be completed and commissioned. We equally completed 14.5 kilometer Abakaliki Afikpo Road. And we are reconstructing Amasri Okposi Ubru Road, that is 23.5 kilometer. We are equally constructing 23.5 kilometer Hilltop Nwofe Road in Ezi local government on concrete pavement. That job is about 90% completed today. And by the grace of God, before the end of January, that job will be fully completed. We constructed quite a number of roads within the Abakaliki capital, within Ugwachara, the water reservoir, Stephen Omege, Watchman Street, that will be fully completed before the end of this year. The Old Kware Express Road. Most of us in Abakaliki, capital city, will attest to the fact that the Ministry of Works and Transport has been able to, uplift the standard of roads within Abakaliki and is no more what it used to be before now. Abakaliki was earlier known as dust of the nation, but today our people can comfortably drive out of their streets and homes without going to the car wash for over a week. Can you put your hands together for His Excellency the Governor? Because of the investment and the interest of government in Nkalago, we are constructing a 15.5 kilometer road from Kalago Junction to Ihamufu, our boundary with Enugu State. That job is about 80% completed, and by February it will be fully completed because we have number 2 and 3 span bridges within that location. That contract will be awarded before the close of this year. We completed the two number 2 span bridges at Amangwedo within this year. We're equally constructing Amasri at the Amangu Road, 15 kilometers. That job is about 65% completed as we speak. We are working within Afikpo zone, Afikpo local government. The roads within Afikpo, about 7 kilometers internal roads in Afikpo is ongoing, being handled by Aremob Nigeria Limited. That job is about 70% completed, and by March next year, that project will be completed. Quite a number. Time will not permit me to go through this. 64 projects around the state, and this is within 2.5 years. This is, by our records, the most wonderful project that has happened within this state. There has never been a governor that awarded up to 64 projects within 2 years in Ebonyi State. His Excellency has not only awarded these projects, but has continually funded these projects. And that is why Ebonyi is moving on a divine mandate. Going into the 2018 budget proposal, we are not here to defend budgets. We are here to present to you a draft of 2018 budget. For those of you who think we are here to defend budgets, it will be a budget when it has passed through the House of Assembly. When you have made your useful inputs, then it will now bring it to the House of Assembly for them to pass. In 2018, we have been able to articulate the outstanding projects, the ones that have not been completed, and equally made provision for other projects. Some. We have to.
That is a Honorable Commissioner for Works and Transport, Engineer Fidelis Nweze Kings. He is also doing his own duty by presenting the 2018 budget estimate of Ebonyi State.
Estimate for 2018 is 85.8 billion. 85.8 billion is the Ministry of Works and Transport budget estimate. This money will cover new projects that we have already marshaled out to construct within 2018 and 2019, partly 2019, and to complete the projects that are ongoing. The projects that have not been completed. This will cover about 200 kilometers of roads within the 13 local governments of Ebonyi State. And other bridges that we intend to construct. An intervention on federal roads. We intend to sorry, please. I want to get the new projects. PRS. Page what? New project, please. I know. Okay, page 15, thank you. I know, I'll be fast. I just want to bring to our knowledge some of the new projects that the ministry intends to undertake within the year 2018. And in case your local government or your area is not covered, that is the essence of this budget estimate presentation, you can draw our attention. If it is what we can do, we'll include it in the budget. One is the construction of Abakaliki Ring Road, which is 198 kilometers. The government of Engineer Chief Ebonyi is fully interested and committed to the construction of Abakaliki Ring Road. And I wish to stand here and tell you that it is a must. There is no devil that will stop it. It is part of the 85.5 billion naira that we have mapped out for construction. And just as all of us are aware, the Islamic Bank and the African Development Bank will be supporting us with about 150 million US dollar to do that project. Among other ones is 2 span bridge across Ebia Bridge in Ebonyi local government from Udemezue area, and the 3 span bridge at Nkalago, another 3 span bridge at Nkalago. We have a very massive land, agri-land farm that the people cannot access. That is part of it. We are going to construct 16 span overhead Muhammadu Buhari overhead bridge that will move into the mall that we are about to construct. 16 span overhead bridge. That is at Akanibiam Junction. We have about 7 kilometer Ihenu Ring Road in Ohosra local government. It's part of it. 6 span bridge across Ivo River along Okwo, Nzeremo, Ishago Road. We have a 4 span bridge across Eso River along Uburu, Akeze Road. We'll be doing a rigid pavement construction from the PDP secretariat. We'll agree, all of us are aware that from PDP secretariat to EPSU Gate, the road constructed by Citraco is already failing. And we intend to do a rigid pavement on the other side so that anybody entering Ebonyi State will actually understand and know that Ebonyi is a rigid state, a rigid concrete road state. And that road is expected to last over 60 years so that the government may not have the need to reconstruct that section of the road again. We're equally going to do a bypass tunnel moving from the old immigration to the Nkaliki to decongest the traffic within the Akanibiam area. If you are going into Nkaliki, you don't need to come to the roundabout. You just take a tunnel and there you are at Nkaliki. Well, we'll be rehabilitating quite a number of the urban roads like Anikbe, Afezono, and so many other streets within the capital city. If your own street is not included, you draw our attention to it. But what we do know is that before the end of the first tenure of His Excellency Engineer Chief Ebonyi, all the roads that are not motorable in Ebonyi State will be motorable. And that's a promise and God. Thank you. Before I drop the mic, the Ministry of Works and Transport had a projection last year to generate revenue for government and not only to spend the ones generated by others. And we
detailed even though there may be some omissions here and there, but by and large, the document is quite rich. I will call you for personal, because there are some that you, so I will speak to you one-on-one. You know, so there are a few other things. Pay attention, Commissioner. If you look at page 1, for construction of a Canibium roundabout, we saw that in 2016 there was 623 million actual expenditure. 2017 budget was 900, and then 2017 actual was 623. Then
and that retention will be paid 1 year after the completion of the project. So we have made provision of that 100 million and 60 something million, which is actually the money due to the contractor that was not paid to him until this project has elapsed, on the 1 year has elapsed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So Monday you can put the floor open for those who want. Okay, just before that.
Honorable Commissioner for Works, I must thank you so much for your excellent performance in the Ministry of Works and Transport. But in this budget presentation, it's expected that the general public is supposed to contribute to the making of this budget. Like you did say at your presentation, Ebonyans from all the 13 local government areas are free to make calls, to make inputs into the projects of the ministry which are not captured in their area. For me, as an Ebonyan, I remember that during the groundbreaking ceremony for the NDP new city in Umuobna, Ubru, sometimes in June last year, the NDP team requested the state government to assist them to construct the road, the Umuobna New City Obosi Road, to facilitate their project of 5,000 housing units for indigent Ebonyans. And I have looked at your budget and I didn't see a reflection of that, even though the state government did promise that as soon as the project starts, that they will start constructing the road. And as I speak with you now, the project has commenced. Thank you.
Question has been thrown to the Commissioner. Of course, he will react to that shortly. You are still tuned to 98.1 Salt FM Abakaliki. If you are listening to the radio,
I said construction of Uburu Ring Road, which includes, among other ones, I think page 4. In the nutshell, that area is captured, sir.
Protocols duly observed. Fellow Ebonyans, let me join a member of this wonderful committee to pour encomiums for the Ministry of Works and Transport. A lot of provisions were made in 2017. And from here we have 61% performance. For me, all of us should receive encomiums and kudos. And I want to use this opportunity to really commend you, the Honorable Commissioner and your team, for the wonderful works you are doing for Ebonyans. Here we didn't see any zero. So the budget is a wonderful budget. And we wish that other ministries will perform the way you have performed for 2017. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, Honorable Commissioner, just before you leave the stand.
Hello?
Still on let's take this coming. Hello? Please, who is on the line?
Hello?
Hello, please, who is on the line?
This is Peter from African is part of the internal road within Abakaliki, and that street is captured. I assure you of that. And even yes, I know you can hear me very well, and even the person that it is named after is in the ministry. Actually, the person that registered the street is an engineer in the ministry, and is aware that that street is captured. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Prof, go ahead.
Yeah, still on the wonderful works of the Honorable Commissioner of Works and Transport, we still want to thank His Excellency the Governor for that big support, because he is the wonder-working governor that have really enabled Ministry of Works. Just to add, probably I may be requiring the same answer you gave to the additional budget for the concluded flyovers. You have a lot of street roads concluded, wonderfully done, but in your projections we can still see additional budget. So are we taking that for as part of the retention fee or for further maintenance? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in the street roads, some of it is, they are not 100% completed. We have about over 200 streets within Abakaliki that we are working on, and we've been able to complete about 96 of them. And I think we'll have about 18 kilometers of about 30-something streets remaining. That is where, including the retentions that will be paid to the contractors. So that is why we made that provision.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Hello? Hello, please, who is on the line? Hello? Okay, please go ahead with your contribution.
I would like to put some parties that are touching the road with all this concrete company. Until then, if you don't want to start happening, you must be taken in getting there ahead. This will get punctured. So until then, I think capture in the present Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Isheke Road, maintenance of Isheke Road.
Yes, thank you. We are doing a road from Isheke to Odomoke, 15.5 kilometers. The contractor CBC Global Nigeria Limited is on site, including now, and they are doing very well. The one from Old Enugu Road to Isheke, passing through the campus, the university there. Yes, we have been maintaining that road for some time now, and we have budgetary provision for continuous maintenance with the maintenance agency, the Ebroma, the Ministry of Works and Transport maintenance agency, Ebroma. We have provision for that. And just a minute. We actually have 913.2 million naira for maintenance of state roads within the states, and 109.6 million for maintenance of federal roads within the states, and about 78 million for purchase of new equipment for this maintenance. So that road is part of it. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Let's take comments from our brothers here. Barrister.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. One more thing, please. Honorable Commissioner, you know this road, Old Izar Road to Omogara, be just before you hit Presco Gate. That road has a street light installed by Ministry of Power. And I don't think in this budget you capture that road, because
You already have provided culverts on both sides of the road. For the last 2 years, that road has remained like that. Can we hear from you your proposed budget in respect to that particular road? Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you go to page 2, construction of street roads at Abakaliki internal roads, you will see number 2. Construction of Gulf Quarry Express roads, Eza roads, we'll call it Old Eza roads. It is captured. It's part of the internal roads that will be completed. It's captured. That is from the St. Luke to the water reservoir.
Commissioner, you've done well.
Thank you,
Let us close for works. Anybody who has issue can see you privately. Let's call another ministry. Okay, you want, okay. After him, we'll conclude.
Thank you, the SSG. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Let me thank you for representing the younger ones very well. The kind of projects you have embarked on and completed is a good testimony of what the younger elements can do, Honorable Commissioner. Now, Honorable Commissioner, you're very much aware of the Enyibichiri Mweda Road. I am mentioning that road because it should be about the very first road project this government commenced immediately after it was sworn in 2015. I'm mentioning it too because I know that our governor doesn't like wastages. Earthwork on that road had been done extensively. A lot of culverts had been constructed on that road. Even the drainage. Somehow, for some reasons, that road project has been abandoned. Not just that it was abandoned, but that erosion has stepped in and is almost taking the road back to where it was before the construction started. So please, Honorable Commissioner, how do we ensure that the funds of this government is not wasted because of the road going back to the terrible state it was, and especially because of the population of the area involved? It may interest you to know that that is the biggest...
I think you've made your point.
Thank you.
Let him respond so that we can call other ministries.
The chairman of the committee, SSG to state government, and the other committee members.
I will allow Madam because she's the only woman who have raised her to speak. After her, everybody has got something to say.
My question is...
just make it one...
Just short.
30 seconds.
Yep. It will be 30 seconds. There is a road called Fido Godo Street, directly opposite the hilltop road. It is just facing the hill, the big hill at hilltop, and the force of erosion when it rains is terrific. That place is trying to form a dangerous gully, and if this is not checked, that beautiful job done by the Minister of Works and his wonderful and our wonderful Excellency will be destroyed. The concrete wall. You know the place I'm talking about? Yep. Is it captured?
Thank you. The Honorable Commissioner, I want just to bring your attention to Okwombo Niger Sem Road. It is a very important road. As the name implies, it is from Okwombo to Niger Sem. And the people that are living there have much population. They add that and that's across the river. They're the only people that are living across the Ebonyi River. And I know that the Kalagu road you're constructing now will be more accessible to Ebonyans through that axis. And moving to Niger Sem from Okwombo is a short distance. And I brought it to the knowledge of His Excellency sometime during the media chat in 2016. He promised that he would do it, and I know he's a Toknadu governor. I don't know whether he's going to be part of it. you know, as a ring road or as a separate place.
It's an appeal. Over to the next man.
All protocols observed. My name is Chris Obaji. I thank God and I thank His Excellency for the job, good job he has been doing in the state. Through the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Transport. I want to thank the government.
Just tell us that there is a place you want to come.
Okay. What I want to say is that it's not in our culture to abandon any project in Ebonyi State. A place like Ezulo Iyolu Aziyaba Ezaigu Road has been under construction from the time we got Ebonyi State. We pray Your Excellency to come to our aid because we find it difficult to come out during the rainy season. Personally, I don't go home. My car doesn't get to my house because there is no road. I pray that you assist us. Thank you.
Yeah. The chairman of the committee and other members of the committee, I want to commend His Excellency for the work on the roads. I thank God the SSC has mentioned about the Zanot road. That Zanot road that says from that flyover to Acheg is a straight road. And once it is done, people from the Ebonyi South, like on the Chaluko government and other places, that will bust at Eko Shiro, will find that road as the shortest road from Ebonyi State. And during the burial of the father of SSG, government also promised that from this Ukwachi road to Onweke Oshegbe will be done, and it will not captured by the commissioner. And once it is done, people from Ezano local government area need not travel to Ohuku local government area before getting to their communities in the local government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just summarize.
Yes. In summary, because of our time, please, the Wida Road, barrister that brought our attention to that. Yes. We all know the volume of funds that trickle into the coffers of Ebonyi State government. We don't have the capacity to do 100% the whole roads in Ebonyi State. But what we promise Ebonyans is that we will do our best and have been doing our best, and you are testimonies to this fact that we have been doing our best to make sure that the hinterlands, that all local governments get their quota in road construction. And we won't relent on that. That road you mentioned, whether the earthwork has been substantially completed, the drains are ongoing just like the ones in Abakaliki, and the culverts. I think about 90% of the culverts have been completed. We are going. Definitely, we will complete that road before the close of the first tenure of His Excellency the Governor. The Fite Ogodo Road of Hitop. I think I need to visit that area myself before I comment on that. But be rest assured that justice will be done to that road, ma. Niger Sem Okwongbo Road. We are already doing road from Kalagu Junction to the Niger Sem Road. We are equally doing that of Izangbo Junction to Effium, part of the ring road. We intend to add some routes, what we call feeder routes, to the 198 kilometer ring road. That road is a feeder road, and it's in the plan of government to add these feeder roads. So many of them that cannot be mentioned here. The Zulo Azenyaba Road. Yes, we all know the predicament of government before now. It is just 2 months ago that we restored peace between Ezulo and the Ezulo community. It is now that we can comfortably say that we will access that road, check it and complete it. Actually, that road was started by His Excellency Dr. Samegu. Wasn't completed, but this government will not abandon any road project. Especially that one is very important to Ebonyi State government. The Izar North Road is already ongoing. About about 2 kilometers of concrete pavement has been completed by the contractor Reinforce Global, and the serious earthwork is ongoing. We believe that the Zanot 12.3 kilometers will be completed by March 2018 is in the budget, and the one through Ukwachi that His Excellency promised when he attended the burial of the father of the SSG is 11.2 kilometers, and that road, His Excellency promised that he will do that road by next year, and that road is in the budget, and the budget is with the SSG. God bless us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
That was a wonderful presentation by Engineer Fidelis Nweze Kings, the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Transport in Ebonyi State.
Are they here? What of your people? No, we'll take you. Let's call
environment.
Environment.
Honorable Commissioner of Environment, please.
Environment, yes.
Honorable Donatus Njoko to please step forward for his presentation. You are welcome, sir.
Here to state that the ministry, through the support of His Excellency, has greatly improved the aesthetic value of Abakaliki and Ebonyi State in general. Wastes are evacuated and disposed of as at when due. Street roads are swept on daily basis. Road medians and veggies are cleared. Flowers and ornamental trees are trimmed. Above all, flooding that hitherto ravaged the capital city of Abakaliki over the years have been reduced to the barest minimum, if not. Ministry is proposing a total of 1,877,000,000 naira only for year 2018 fiscal year, about 61% increment from that of 2017. This is born out of the ministry's determination to sustain the tempo and acquire more equipment for aggressive approach to environmental challenges, taking consideration the speedy nature the town is developing. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, we want to request that every resident of the state, Ebonyans and non-Ebonyans inclusive, should join hands with the ministry to give ourselves the environment that we can all be proud of. Environmental cleanliness is not one-man affair and should not be left for government alone. Residents are to clean their residential and business areas, as the case may be, and observe every other environmental rules. It is said that cleanliness is next to godliness, and also health is said to be wealth. With this, it is clear that our well-being largely depends on ourselves. That is to keep our environment clean. Together, we can make Ebonyi State the cleanest city in the country. To God be the glory. In the budget breakdown, year 2017, we are budgeting 30-number special designed mobile bus shelter at designated locations in the capital city. Year 2017, we budgeted 9,750,000, assessed 4.5 million. And in year 2018, we are budgeting 30 million naira. In reforestation of degraded forest, we budgeted 65 million naira in year 2017 and was not able to assess any. We are rolling it over in year 2018.
Maintenance of palms planted from 135 to Ebonyi, Centenary City, and streets of Abakaliki Metropolis. We budgeted 19.5 million naira in year 2017 and assessed 3 million naira. And year 2018, we are budgeting 16.5 million naira. For the contract of clearing of the entire city, the grasses, trimming of flowers, roadsides, drains, and the rest of it, we budgeted 300 million naira in year 2017. We've been able to assess 275 million naira, and in 2018, we are budgeting 336 million naira. Construction of additional 3 ultra-modern water fountains within the capital city. We are budgeting 150 million naira for year 2018. We're equally thinking of rehabilitation of and the repairs of garden lights and public toilets within the capital city. We are budgeting 20 million naira in year 2018. Evacuation of refuse at various intervention areas, that is areas that are not covered by the contract. In year 2017, we budgeted 195 million naira and assessed 20. We are projecting 150 million naira in year 2018. Then for data analysis and air quality monitoring and control, in year 2018, we are budgeting for procurement of the equipment to help us do this. We are projecting 30 million naira. For beautification of roadside veggies from 135 to Ebonyi, year 2017, we budgeted 195 million naira, assessed 69.2 million naira, and in 2018 we are budgeting 125 million naira. For the purchase of spray equipment to enable us to fumigate both residential offices, hotels, and other business areas, we are budgeting 5 million naira for year 2018 to enable us to procure the equipment and chemicals for that. In year 2017, we budgeted for equipment such as bulldozer, tipper lorries, payloader, Hilux vans, excavator, and mowing machines. We budgeted 65 million, but only assessed 352,000 naira. So in year 2018, we are budgeting 300 million naira. For the maintenance of integrated solid waste recycling plant, like I stated earlier, the government of Engineer Chief David Nwezomahi is building a gigantic recycling plant at Ohara with the intention of turning the waste generated from all the nooks and crannies of the state into wealth. To maintain that, when it finally comes to be, we are budgeting 80 million naira for 2018. We budgeted 130 million naira for this year, but assessed only 51 million. So in 2018, we have budget proposal of 80 million naira. Then for the menace of flooding and erosion, we are partnering with federal government and World Bank under the umbrella of New Map for the intervention and the design of survey of soil. So we budgeted 150 this year, assessed 100. Next year we